Chapter 33 Dawn of the Damned. Haltoria's Sanctuary, Crystal Healing Chamber. The blood-red dawn bled across the jagged mountain peaks like an open wound, staining the eternal snows in sickly hues of rust and crimson. A bitter wind howled through the crystal spires of Haltoria's Sanctuary, carrying the sharp scent of ozone, charred wood, and the metallic tang of impending bloodshed. Kale stood motionless on the curved balcony, his clawed fingers digging deep into the railing until fine cracks spider-webbed through the ancient crystal. The black veins now covered most of his body, throbbing like living parasites just beneath his skin. A ring of unnatural crimson fire burned steadily around his golden irises, casting flickering, hellish shadows across his gaunt, sharpened face. His once radiant white armor had darkened to ash gray and tarnished silver. The sacred runes upon it flickered weakly, as if the metal itself was slowly dying. Behind him, in the softly pulsing heart of the healing chamber, Queen Illyria lay deathly still upon a bed of sacred moon moss. Her legendary golden hair had faded to dull, brittle straw. Her chest rose and fell in shallow, irregular gasps so faint that 3 priestesses remained on their knees beside her at all times, ears pressed close, whispering desperate prayers to the light that seemed to be abandoning them. Seraphiel approached slowly, his silver wings tucked tight against his back, his face pale with exhaustion and dread. "My prince," he said, voice low and urgent, "the scouts have returned. Thousands of shadow-sworn march from the north, supported by full Druze spider legions and columns of red wizards chanting foul rites. Zarek leads them personally. He burns with stolen golden light, my lord. It's grotesque, like watching the sun rot." Kale didn't turn around. His voice emerged rough and layered, like 2 voices speaking in terrible harmony. "Then we fight." Seraphiel stepped closer, glancing nervously at the dying queen. "Kale, please. You are barely holding on. The corruption is devouring you from within. Your power is unstable if you take the field now. I fear you may lose control completely and become the very thing you hate." Kale's head snapped toward him with terrifying speed. The crimson flames in his eyes flared violently, and the air around him rippled with dark energy. "I said we fight," he snarled, the words echoing with unnatural resonance that made the crystal walls hum. He drew a ragged breath, fighting for control. "I will not let them take her. Not while I still draw breath." The fire in his eyes dimmed slightly as he turned back toward his mother. His voice dropped to a broken whisper meant only for her. "Mother, I won't fail you, even if it costs me everything. Even if I become the monster they fear. I will save you, or die trying." Elion, the Grand Hall. The Silver City was dying. Gardens that had bloomed for 10,000 years now lay withered and gray, their once vibrant flowers reduced to brittle ash that scattered in the wind. The majestic waterfalls of liquid starlight had slowed to a pathetic trickle, and a heavy, suffocating silence blanketed the golden streets. Angels walked like ghosts through their dying home, many weeping openly, their radiant wings drooping with grief and despair. Azoth sat hunched upon the cracked star throne, head buried in his hands. The heart of creation floating above him was now grotesque, more black and diseased red than gold. Deep fractures spider-webbed across its surface, leaking thin wisps of corrupted energy that hissed and burned where they touched the marble floor. Lyral stood before him with a group of senior clerics and battle-hardened captains. This time there was no deference in their stance. "Open the veil, my lord," Lyral demanded, her voice steady but fierce, eyes blazing with righteous anger. "Your wife is dying in Haltoria. Your son is turning into something monstrous before our eyes. The Silver Guard trapped on a scare are being slaughtered as we speak. You are killing your own family with this cowardice." Azoth slowly lifted his head. His once brilliant eyes were bloodshot, his divine radiance reduced to a flickering ember. "If I open it now," he rasped, voice thick with exhaustion and centuries of burden, "Zurek will come straight for the heart of creation. He carries Illyria's stolen power. He is stronger than he has ever been. Perhaps even stronger than I am in this weakened state. A silver guard captain, armor still scorched and dented from countless battles, stepped forward boldly. Then we make our stand here in Elion, where our strength is greatest. But we cannot abandon the queen and the prince. Not after everything they have sacrificed for us. Not while you sit here paralyzed by fear. Another cleric added bitterly, "The people are whispering in the streets, my lord. They speak openly of abdication. How long before dissent turns to open revolt? How long before we lose the light from within while you cling to your throne?" Azoth stared at the sealed veil shimmering at the far end of the hall. His hand rose halfway in a trembling gesture of decision, then fell limply back to his side. "I cannot," he whispered, almost choking on the words. "Not yet. The risk is too great. If the heart falls, everything falls. I cannot trade one world for another." Several captains and clerics exchanged dark, furious glances. Without waiting for permission, 3 of them turned sharply and walked out of the grand hall. Their boots echoed like accusations. Down the marble corridor, the quiet sound of dissent was growing louder by the minute. The skies approaching Alturia, Zarek flew at the head of a vast dark army. His new form, a nightmarish fusion of stolen divinity and pure shadow. He had grown taller and broader, his once handsome features now cruel and predatory. Golden light ripped violently from Illyria burned across his skin, only to be devoured by writhing tendrils of living darkness. Lord Malazan flew beside him, red eyes gleaming with malicious delight. "The mother is nearly gone, my lord. Her life force flickers like a dying candle. The prince is teetering on the edge. One more push and he will fall completely." Zurek's smile was slow, cruel, and triumphant. "Good. I don't want him broken yet. I want him to choose the shadow. I want him to stare into his mother's dying eyes and willingly open the door. I want him to kill for it, to slaughter those who still believe in him. Only then will he be truly ours. Only then will the light be extinguished forever." He raised his hand. A colossal wave of dark energy surged forward, racing across the mountains. Entire forests withered and turned to ash in seconds. The sky above Alturia Sanctuary turned an oily, unnatural black. "Today we take the Queen of Creation." Zarek's voice boomed like thunder across the peaks, shaking snow from the ridges. "And we claim the Prince of Light as our own." The army roared behind him, an unholy chorus of howls, war cries, and chanting as they descended toward the sanctuary like a tide of living night. Alturia Sanctuary. Kale stepped out onto the highest crystal battlement, his corrupted sword drawn. The blade was now split, half gleaming white, half consumed by writhing black veins that pulsed hungrily. Below him, the remaining elven defenders and battered silver guard formed desperate ranks. War horns blared defiantly. Ancient wards flared to life along the walls, casting fragile blue light against the oncoming darkness. Kale looked down at the approaching horde stretching across the valley like a black sea of nightmare spider riders, shadow beasts, enchanting red wizards. Then he glanced back toward the healing chamber where his mother fought for every breath. The voice inside his head unmistakably. Zurich slithered through his mind like poisoned silk. "Let me help you save her, cousin. All you have to do is open the door. Give in to me. I can end her suffering. I can give you the power to protect what you love. No more pain. No more weakness. Just say yes." Kale's grip tightened on his sword until the metal groaned in protest. A single tear traced down his cheek, half radiant light, half writhing shadow. "Come on then, Zarek," he roared, voice shaking with rage, desperation, and defiance that echoed across the valley. "I'm waiting for you." The crimson fire in his eyes blazed brighter than ever as the first ranks of the Shadow Sworn slammed against Alturia's outer wards, shaking the entire mountain like the fist of a god.